Hi everybody, today I'm doing a full microneedling demo on my face with the Dr. Pen M8S, and included in this is a free microneedling guidebook that will teach you how to do this at home yourself. So that's what today's show is. I'm going to start getting all prepped. I have clean, dry skin. So this is going to be from beginning to end. How do we do microneedling at home in a safe way that is strategic and effective? So that's what we're doing today. This is the Dr. Pen M8. This is the tool that I use. When I post this to my main feed, which will be after this show, right after this show, this will go to my main feed. You can comment the word microneedling, if I can get this open, and that will get you this free guidebook that will teach you how to do this at home. If you know anybody who is interested in microneedling, or they're like, they have a device and it's collecting dust, get that sucker out, send this video to them, press that little airplane on the bottom right corner and send them this video. Because what good does it do to have one of these devices if it's sitting in your drawer? So let's get it out. So this is a sterile needle. They all come sterile like this. You simply click it in and turn it to the right. Take the cap off. Those are sterile needles. You never reuse this, you guys, okay? The needle packets, they come in like a packet of 10. They're available as well, and you can see on the document that you're gonna get, hi Creative Eye Candy, you can see on the document that you're gonna get the 18 pen cartridges, the link's there. The link for the microneedling tool is there that I use. The link to like any of the hyaluronic acid, the stampers, the rollers, they're all clickable links in here. So absolutely free for you guys. Okay, we're gonna get started. I microneedle with the pure hyaluronic acid. Now I know other people will oftentimes do it with the PDRN or exosomes, which I have here as well, but that is not, I think, the safest thing to do at home. And so on a consistent basis, it's really good to do microneedling at home, but only every 4 to 6 weeks. You can't do it every single week. I was looking for my new calendar, which I think I brought downstairs. If you missed yesterday's show, oh no, I brought it downstairs. If you missed yesterday's show, you know we have a brand new ultimate skincare calendar that's for free as well. So when I post this to my main feed, you can either comment microneedling, which will get you the free guidebook that shows you all the different needle links, tells you about the safety, all of that stuff. You can get that. You can also comment the word protocol, and that will get you that calendar that shows you how I fit everything in: microneedling, microcurrent, red light therapy, dry brushing, chemical peels, radio frequency. How do I put it all in a month, right, without exhausting the skin? I wish I had that calendar right here, but I think I brought it downstairs. Okay, so today we're doing a whole demo. This is the Dr. Pen M8. I'm gonna scale this down to, let's see, righty tighty. I'm gonna do a 0.5. That's half a millimeter. Okay, hyaluronic acid, no scent, no nothing. I'm putting it in one of these little silicone little containers. You use quite a bit of it. That's why I like this, because it's a big bottle. It is airtight, so you just use, like, anytime that you're opening up something, putting it on your hands, putting it on your face, you're running the risk of more contamination. So stick it in here, use one of these silicone brushes. I'm gonna start with my forehead. That is one of the thinnest parts of our face, is our forehead skin, because there's not the thick, look, you can try to pinch an inch on your forehead. Just, you can't do it. So it's a different anatomy under there. There's not as much of a fat. There's not as much muscle. Yeah, we need the muscle to like raise our eyebrows and stuff, but it's not a big, thick muscle right here. So not a lot of depth that you need on the forehead. So I stay at a 0.50. Again, all the needle links are in here, and it's absolutely free. When I say comment microneedling, you have to wait until after I post it to the main feed, which will be immediately after this show. Immediately after the show, I'll post it to the main feed, and that's where you comment microneedling to get the guidebook, and that's where you can also comment protocol to get that printable calendar. Okay, I'm going in. Now, anytime, I want to start by saying this. If you've never microneedled before and you're like, come on, no numbing cream, no anything, that's exactly right. No numbing cream, no anything. because when you put numbing cream on, you then have to wait for that 30 minutes to an hour. Then you've got to wipe it all off. You've got to sterilize your face. I use alcohol wipes. I've got them right here, because if you're doing this at home, you're creating those micro traumas at home. And we know what the purpose is, right? Fine lines and wrinkles, skin texture, stimulating collagen and elastin, reducing pore size, evening out skin tone. It's literally reverse aging your skin with a device like this. So if you have always wanted to do this and you're like too afraid to try, here's what I want you to do. Turn it all the way down to 0, right? Start at a 0, go up to a 0.25. That's a 1/4 of a millimeter deep. A millimeter is this, if you were to take a pen and put a pen, make a dot on a paper with a pen, that's generally a millimeter. We're talking a 1/4 of a millimeter deep. If you think you need numbing cream to try that out, my God, women, we have cut ourselves shaving so many times. We take razors to our whole body. This is nothing. Trust me, okay? Start at a 0.25 and do this. Turn it on. You're at a speed of 1 and just go like this. See how bad that hurts, because it doesn't hurt that bad. It's like you feel it. You feel it, definitely. But it's not like you're going to be screaming in pain. And what I have found is, I'm going to go back up to a 5.5. That's a 1/2 millimeter, 1/2 of a pinpoint. It's not that deep, folks. And I'm going to do a swirling technique. But what I have found in terms of like to numb or not to numb, when I numb my skin, I will go way too deep, way too many passes. And it, like I said, it's that extra step. I want to see how my skin is reacting. You can see just by me doing that, how my skin is reacting. Sometimes when you have numbing cream on, it creates like a white cast on your skin. I mean, you still wipe it off, but I would like to explain like how numbing cream works, but I don't think that that's relevant here. But it tends to change the skin to like almost like it takes the color out, like it's white. And so your reaction is not going to be as big. And so you can oftentimes mistakenly, because it is a mistake, go over that same area over and over, or think you're not doing it deep enough and go deeper, all because it's numbed. So my thought is, start small. You're going to realize that it does not hurt as much as you think it would hurt. This is no pain. We're no pussies. No, we're women. And you know what? We're badass warrior women. We have been through some stuff to be this age and a woman in the world. So congratulations, you guys. Right? But like, this is nothing compared to the shit that we have been through. So don't think like, oh my God, I can't handle this. I can't handle it. Trust me, you can. You absolutely can. And you will end up looking forward to this, because it's only once every 4 to 6 weeks, and you will see the difference in your skin. When I'm at a depth of a 1/2 millimeter, or I love that, Christy. When I'm at a depth of a 1/2 millimeter, I can do this swirling technique. You see how I'm making like these little tiny circles? And yeah, you can go over your eyebrows. You stamp over the eyebrows. I don't want to get into the eyebrows right now, but I'm going to stay on the skin. And you do these little tiny swirls. Islanigma _PT, can you get temporary wrinkles if you're dehydrated, if you're in your 20s? Yeah, you can. You can also get wrinkles in your 20s. If you smoke, if you're a drinker, if you're out in the sun. I've seen plenty of 20-year-olds with wrinkles, but dehydration can add to those for sure. Okay. And I wouldn't say I've seen 20-year-olds with wrinkles, but I've seen 20-year-olds that I thought like, wow, that's not healthy skin. It's not healthy skin. What we're doing here by microneedling is we are biohacking the skin. It is one of this and red light therapy, like these masks, not only red light, but LED therapy in multiple spectrums and microneedling are one of the best ways to biohack the skin. There's no way I'm going to say that. Aphaphelate. For acne scars, you need to go deeper, right? It depends. If you have an acne scar on your forehead, you do not need to go deeper. A 0.50, now if you look in, let me turn this off real quick. If you look in the guidebook, ooh, that did not turn off. If you look in the guidebook and you go to forehead, it will say, see forehead, 0.25, because remember, there's not a lot of anatomy under here. It's like, you can't even pinch it. So how are you gonna like go super, super deep there, right? You're gonna just thrash your whole forehead. It's a 0.25 to a 0.50. That is like standard on the forehead. We'll go thicker when we go here. We'll go thicker around here. But on the forehead, a 0.50 is standard. Now, if you've got acne scars, do your whole face, do your whole forehead in the 0.50, and then I want you to turn it up to a 0.75 and only stamp those scars. So go do the full forehead first, and then go back over the top of those acne scars, and you can crank it up a tiny bit, but you don't need to go more than a 0.75, no matter where that scar is. But yes, it makes sense. If you have got a deeper scar, you want to go a little bit deeper, but you want to treat it consistently. That is what's going to give you the best result. So it's not like you treat an acne scar once with a microneedling tool and then it's gone. No, you have to be consistent with it. It will not only reduce acne scars, but prevent future breakouts. So it's pretty miraculous what it does. So if you think about it, and I explained this yesterday in yesterday's live, look, this is what I mean. You see how I've got this white spot kind of in the middle of my forehead right now? That is the spot that needs to be gone over again. So you try to uniformly cover it in like a swirling technique or whatever, but that doesn't mean that it's like you're actually doing it, right? Like it's hard to map your face out and really be consistent, like a consistent treatment. So you go back over the places that you can see have not reacted. Now you see how that just turned pink? So it will end up going back to its normal color again. I'm gonna put a little bit more of this hyaluronic acid on, but you go back over and you find those places that haven't reacted. Did I go back up? Did I turn that? No, I'm at a 5. And you do them again until you see that reaction. And that's all you need. You don't need to be bloody and, bleeding or anything like that. You don't need to be dripping blood. You're just looking for that pink reaction in the skin. Now, if I were to take a magnifying mirror and look at this, I'd be able to see, oh yeah, there's little teeny tiny droplets of blood, not everywhere, but occasionally you'll see that. I see a couple little spots up here, but that's normal. That's what you're wanting. A tiny bit of breakage in the skin is great, but you don't need to be thrashed like hamburger meat, right? That's not what we're trying to accomplish here. We're literally calling on our body to create collagen and elastin by creating microtraumas. And that's what microneedling is. It's creating microtraumas that call on your own skin to come to the rescue to produce collagen and elastin. So I oftentimes say this, like, try to give you an example of like when we were younger and we would ride a bicycle. Hold on, I'm gonna take a drink of mushroom coffee, 1 second. How long for the healing? We're gonna go over all of that. For me, it's like, I wish I had my calendar. Dang it. Let me just check real quick to make sure it's not over here. Because if I don't have that calendar. I think it's downstairs. Dang it. We only microneedle our face every month, like once a month or once every 6 weeks. That's it. That's the maximum, because it takes a while for your skin to heal. And even though you might not be seeing the healing on the outside, there's still microtrauma that is being healed. So for me, it's like 4 or 5 days, but I speed heal because I blast it with first blue, violet, and cyan light immediately after microneedling because it will kill any bacteria. And then tomorrow and for the following 4 or 5 days, I double up my red light therapy and near infrared and green, because green is for pigment. Red is for that deep healing. Near infrared is even for deeper healing than that. But in the very beginning, it's blue, violet, and cyan that actually are the ones that are going to help this heal by initially killing the bacteria that could be growing in this newly traumatized skin. That makes sense. So it really depends. Again, I double up on collagen. I double up on my hair, skin, and nails, which is the collagen generator. And I blast it with red light therapy in the next couple of days. Today, it's just going to be blue and cyan and violet, because that's what's going to kill the superficial bacteria. And I can go over that. Blue, of course, is like the acne causing. This helps with acne causing bacteria. I'll get to the blue. It shrinks pores, balances oils, and helps with not only acne, but acne scarring. But then when you get to the violet, oops, let's go over here. Violet at 430 nanometers, this speeds, heals superficial trauma like microneedling, kills acne causing bacteria, reduces redness, and treats inflammation from mild surface injuries. So this is why I use this color violet post microneedling. Cyan treats minor surface wounds, reduces redness, and encourages oxygen flow. And cyan is this kind of turquoisey color. So those are the 3 different color modes that I use post microneedling to kind of speed heal. Okay, I've got the forehead done. Let me do a little bit more over here. I can see that needs a little bit more treatment. And then I'm going to move down to like the chin. I'm going to save the middle of my face for a little bit later. So with the chin, if I were to look on the microneedling guide, 0.50 to a 0.10. Sometimes I'll go to a 1.5 because I've got some textural issues going on with my chin from menopause. So I'll go to like a 1.5, but normally I stay like I do a pass at a half millimeter, and then I'll do another pass at like a 1. And you'll see that I'm going to swirl at the half millimeter because we're looking at a depth that is not very deep. And so in that, you can continue with the swirling technique, which I like. Sometimes I'll do my full face and stay at that half millimeter just so I can do the whole thing quickly with a swirling technique. And then I'll come back over the top of it. And in those places where I want to go deeper, I'll do the stamping technique, which is you got to lift it up, stamp, lift up, stamp, lift up. And on the deeper needle links, that's what you want to do instead of dragging it across your face. You want to pick it up. So right now I'm only at a half millimeter, so I can keep this kind of swirling motion. And I like to do this kind of warm up the skin. It's creating those microtrauma that's calling on my body to produce collagen and elastin. So microtraumas are actually like a good kind of stress. We've got our bad stress that we want to diminish, but then we can utilize stress, whether it's for our skin or cold plunging or lifting weights. That's stress for your muscle, but it's a good stress. Microneedling is good stress for your skin because it's calling on collagen and elastin to be produced that wouldn't normally be produced. So when we're still growing, when our muscular skeletal frame is still growing, we have this wave of collagen that happens because we're growing. Does it help hyperpigmentation and melasma? Absolutely, it does. So fine lines and wrinkles, skin tone and texture, tightening the skin, hyperpigmentation, sunspots, acne, active acne, and acne scars. Scars in general. I'll do this to my scars. Just do a little lift up, lift up, lift up. Okay. So in general, so a lot of, it's literally biohacking your skin because it's creating collagen where you normally wouldn't create collagen. When we were younger, we'd fall down on our bicycle, skin our knee, and that scab would start forming. That is your body like coming to the rescue from a trauma. We're controlling that trauma by microneedling. So it's controlled microtrauma that is doing the same thing. It's calling on our body to come to the rescue and produce collagen and elastin. And when it does that, the skin recovers smoother, tighter, less wrinkles, smaller pores, less scarring, more even skin tone, less skin texture. Like it does a lot of different things just by poking holes in your skin. It's true. Now, hold on one second. I missed this. What is the speed you're using? I like to use a speed of 1, This goes all the way up to a speed of 6. But think about the speed is only the rate at which the needles are going like this. When I'm doing a swirl, now I could, if I wanted to go super quick and like, oh, get a super, like I could leave it at a speed of 6, still do a swirling technique because I'm under a 0.5 millimeter. So that's fine, but why? Like, I don't need to, I don't need to do like the speed thing. This is actually a speed of 6. So let me show you. It doesn't hurt any worse. It just is a little bit more of a vibration. It's all it does is kind of speed the treatment along a tiny bit. So I probably won't have to go over it as many times, but I still, even with this speed, can do a swirling technique because of the needle length. Now, if I were to go back to a 0.1 or a 1.0, that's a 1 millimeter depth. Now you can see my chin is a little bit pink here. So I've already gone over it with that 0.5, but now I'm going to go over it with a 1, and I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to keep that speed of 1. You can increase that speed, and I do give the speeds here, but for me, it's like, I'd rather do like a speed between 1 and 3. That's kind of my sweet spot. I don't like needles coming at me like in a speed of 6 where you're having to be a little bit more careful. So this is a 1.0, and I'm stamping. Does this hurt a little bit worse? Totally, because I'm deeper. I'm a millimeter deeper. But it's not like, you're not like, I'm not crying. I'm able to carry on a conversation. So I want you guys to test this out test it out on your hand if you want. Let me just spray a little bit of alcohol. If you want, test it on your hand. You can see like, oh, what does 1 millimeter deep feel like? Oh, that's what it feels like. Okay, let me try it on my face now. That's kind of how I started. Just test it out first where you feel comfortable, and then you can go back in and go like, okay, now let me try this at this depth on my face. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes even though I'm at a depth of 1, if I have enough, don't follow this. I know I'm coaching this, but don't follow this. Sometimes if I have a depth of 1, I could still do little tiny swirls, but that's not what the company recommends. They recommend picking it up and doing the stamping when you're over a 0.5 millimeter deep, no matter how much slip you've created with the hyaluronic acid. With the hyaluronic acid, I'm not trying to microneedle this into my skin. I'm creating a slip so that the device moves when I'm doing the swirling technique. The device glides over the skin without tugging it. That's the reason why you use a hyaluronic acid. If I was doing my whole face with a stamping technique and I was like, there's no way I'm going to swirl, I wouldn't need to use the hyaluronic acid. Now, I know there's a lot of people that will then microneedle something into their skin, like a PDRN, which we're going to talk about next week in the Ultimate Skincare. Next week, you guys, I know I've been saying that we were going to do this week, but next week is the Ultimate Skincare Routine. This is all the topical stuff. So this is that 10-step night routine, making sure that you have the actives, making sure you're doing at least the basics, wash, treat, protect. What are your treatments? And making sure that your skincare isn't playing meanly with each other. Like they're playing nicely together, because if you've got a big active like a vitamin C or an AHA or even a retinoid, it could literally neutralize any peptides that you're using. So you're wasting your money. We're going to talk about that next week on Instagram Live when I do my Ultimate 2026 edition of the skincare routine. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to leave my chin alone for a little bit. Actually, let me do this. I'm just going to really look in the mirror, okay? Figure out where your concerns are. That's where you go back and you do a little bit of stamping there. That's where I have like a little bit of textural changes that have happened. Now I'm at a depth of 1 millimeter here, and still a speed of 1. I have an 18 pin cartridge here, and I like an 18 pin cartridge. That means the number of pins. Like when you see these cartridges that are like 32 nano, all this stuff, the needles are so tightly packed together that it doesn't really give you the best treatment. I like a 12 pin, 16 pin, 18 pin cartridge is like ideal because you can use it on your whole body. And when you look at that calendar, you can see that I'm microneedling different body parts on different days. I microneedle every single Sunday. It's just a matter of what am I microneedling? And so then I do that in such a way that I come back and microneedle the face, a full face, every 4 to 6 weeks. And I'm telling you, nothing has done as much for my skin in terms of pore size, clarity, texture, fine lines and wrinkles, discoloration than microneedling and LED mask. Though if you do nothing else, like there's so many other devices on the market today, like microcurrent, radio frequency. There's so many things, so many gadgets that are always coming out. These are the main two that biohack your skin. A multi-spectrum LED mask and a microneedling tool. You will literally reverse age your skin. I've seen it in hundreds and hundreds of clients that I have. Okay, going back, I'm gonna do the cheek now. Just putting on a little, and while you're doing this, continue to go back over and add hyaluronic acid to the places that you've already done. You don't want them to get dried out. And you can always too reactivate it by just putting a little bit of a mineral water. This is just a plain mineral water. This kind of refreshes all that hyaluronic acid so it doesn't get all dry and flaky. Okay, we are now gonna do chin, and we're gonna do the chin and the jowl area. Now I have here a 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter. I've gone as deep as a 1.5 on my cheeks. You have to be careful about going very, very deep on your cheeks if you're a midlife woman, because you have a potential to break little capillaries. I've only done it one time when I went to a 2.0 on this on my cheek, and I'm like, oh, I had little broken capillaries. Now, of course, I went back over the top of it with the Jove's DPL and got rid of those broken capillaries. But that said, you still have to be careful. So I don't go over a 1.5 on my cheeks, and generally I'll stay at a 1. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to a 0.5. That's that 0.5 millimeter, and I'm going to do the little swirling. Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me scroll down. I've been using the Derminator 2, which has fine needles that you can barely feel, but I cannot recommend it because the owner company is crazy, Andrew. Yeah, there are those. The swirl is good. I don't like stamping. Creative eye candy, I'm the same way. I like to swirl. So sometimes I'll just keep it in that 0.5. And you know what's interesting is I spoke with somebody who owns a ZO Skin Health Clinic. That's a Dr. Obaji clinic. And I believe they were in Florida or something. And I spoke with her on the phone, and her bread and butter, this esthetician that works for the ZO Skin Clinic, her bread and butter is doing a 0.5 millimeter on the entire face and neck for her clients, and they come back every month. And I'm telling you, it makes a giant difference. Giant difference. Yeah, creative eye candy, but I do it anyways as well. I like the swirl. I can't stand the stamping. It takes a long time to do the stamping. I do it anyways. Andrew says stamping works good for the nose, and it does. And for the eyebrows, which we're going to get to, for the hairline, for around the mouth, for the top of the lip, stamping is great. But with the deeper depths, they do recommend, the company, that you stamp it if you're at a 1 millimeter instead of gliding it over the skin. And if you think about it, it makes sense, right? You don't want to be moving it as the needles are going in and out. Now they go in and out so quickly that you're not going to be ripping the skin up, but still you're going to get a better perforation at a deeper depth, a more clean perforation, I should say, at a deeper depth if you're doing that stamping technique. Now I'm still at a 0.5 millimeter, so I'm going to keep swirling because I like to make sure I cover everything, and that to me, I cover everything better with the swirling technique. So I'll do the swirling technique first, and even around the eyes. This is still, I'm not close to the eyes, and I haven't done the eyes yet. I'm going to show you a whole different technique for that. But so far, you can see that I'm getting a good treatment just at a 0.5 millimeter depth. So I'm going to cover it until it gets pink. I'm going to come back over the top of it, with a 1 millimeter, this is where I've got like little pores and stuff. So let me take a drink of mushroom coffee. Hold on. Yum. Okay. Still going. I'm going to scroll up and see if there was any questions. Hold on. Oh, I like Christina and Michelle are now friends. Need this headband. I got this from Amazon. They came in a packet of 3, black, white, and this beige one. And because I've got hyaluronic acid everywhere, I try to like keep my hair all back. Okay, hold on. The water's from, yeah, that's great. Yes, that's the water. Evian also makes one too. I like to use it because otherwise you're just, constantly putting this stuff on and then it gets this thick. So I like to like in between to refresh it, spritz it with some of this mineral water, and it just wakens up that hyaluronic acid. Okay, let me see if there was anything. I lost myself in your eyes. Oh my gosh. The Jogues DPL works for broken capillaries. Corinne, absolutely it does. Redness, broken capillaries, small broken capillaries on the cheeks, absolutely, completely did that. You put it on the redness mode, right? And then you would do it. I won't want to do it now because look, it would like target everything. So you don't want to do it now. But yeah, it absolutely helps with that. If you guys missed that live show I did yesterday, it is posted to my feed. Go to my feed, click on yesterday's show. You'll learn all about that calendar, right? You'll learn all about that skincare gadget calendar that also changes your topical skincare depending on where you are in recovering from microneedling and where you are in recovering from a chemical peel, because we do that once a week too. And so your skincare has to change with that. So we're going to learn all about that next week when I go over the Ultimate Skincare Routine 2026 edition that incorporates peptides and all of these new type of very exciting skincare products that are coming out of South Korea. How do you incorporate that in such a way, these new types of peptides and stuff, in such a way that you're not wasting your money, you're not deactivating them with too high of a pH balance from like acids or vitamin C or AHAs or retinoids. So when you're layering skincare, there's strategic ways to do that as well. And that's what I'm going to be coaching next Saturday. So if you got any friends or anybody that's like they're skincare obsessed and you want a calendar that keeps you on track, that was yesterday's show. I'll go over it a little bit again next week as well. I'm just going to do the whole thing at a 0.50. I'm going to come back over the top so I don't have to like readjust but look, you can tell the difference. This obviously has some reaction going on. This one, not so much. That's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to come back over here and do a whole swirling, and then I'll go back and look at how the treatment is, but also do a little bit deeper with a stamping technique. Just want the whole skin to react. Yeah, that Zeo Skin Health technician, esthetician, that's what she does. Which is what I'm doing right now. A 0.50 on the full face. Come back next month. I'll take $500, please. Honestly, you could do this at home, you guys. You could do it at home. And you will have amazing skin because like I said, it treats so many various things. It's not just sticking needles in your face, fine lines and wrinkles, skin discolorations, enlarged pores, active acne, acne scars. So not only does it treat acne scars, but prevents new acne from forming. Collagen stimulating, fine lines and wrinkles, melasma, skin discolorations. I mean, it treats so many things just from the power of our own body coming to the rescue. That's what's so amazing about it, I think. It's like you're literally just having your body. You're like, hey, here's a little trauma. Come to the rescue. Collagen, elastin. Let's build it back better, right? That's what happens. And when you do it consistently, once a month, that's like game changer. Okay, let me just scroll up. Okay. Paige says, what about rollers, stampers? What areas are those used for? You can use rollers and stampers for your face. You absolutely can. If this scares you for some reason, which I really suggest you guys try it first. The whole fear of the unknown, you realize like the unknown is not as scary once you know it. And that's what we're doing here. We're getting to know the unknown, right? I can tell you that my face isn't burning like fire right now, even though it's red. It's not burning like fire. Does it feel a little hot? Does it feel a little tight? Yeah, but it's not unbearable, you guys. I'm literally sitting here talking to you. But rollers, that's a good question, Paige. Rollers and stampers are great. I've got the dial-up stampers. These go up to 2.5. Yeah, these go up to 3 millimeters deep. That's deep for a stamper. So I've got these stampers. They're on here. They're on the microneedling protocol. So you just comment microneedling after I post this to my main feed. You'll get the microneedling guidebook for free. And just know, like, yeah, you can print it out, but it's also clickable and downloadable. So you can click on this. By the way, this is $100 off, you guys. I don't know when that sale ends, but it's $100 off with code LIVEYOUNG. So on the microneedling guidebook, you'll see that link. I also think that when you comment the word microneedling, once I post this to my main feed in that comment section, you'll get a link to the pen as well. And it's $100 off with code LIVEYOUNG. So it's normally $299. It's $199. So imagine this. An esthetician in Florida at a very good clinic charges $500 a month for their clients to come in once a month and have her do this to them with a doctor pen. So just think about that. By the time you did one treatment, you've already paid for it. And you absolutely can do this at home. It's not rocket science. It's really not. It's literally like coloring. It's like a coloring book. Where am I pink? Where am I not pink? How do I fill in the gaps? That's it. Okay. I'm going to do my upper lip. Again, I'm going to stay today just a 0.5, and then I'll go back over the top of it. Oh, this is the part you want to dial it down, everybody. When you see it's the top of the lip, there's a lot of nerve endings there. When we get over to the lips, I'm going to show you. So this whole guidebook, it's like every part you could imagine. Forehead, neck, eyes, abdomen, forearms, cheeks, chin, jowls, lips, chest, nose, elbows, hands, upper arms, thighs, knees. Why? Because you can microneedle any part that has skin. Any part that has skin, you can microneedle. But the stampers and rollers are in here as well as like the hyaluronic acid for the post-care, the Aquaphor, unscented moisturizer, red light therapy. It's all in here, everything that I do. And this is the basics, you guys. This will get you to where you can do it safely at home. One-on-one clients, we might do different things, like put a little PDRN in there, do a little peptides for senescent cells first, but we wait a little bit. We wait a half hour. Then we can add a little bit of the one skin. Then we can add the PDRN. I'm going to talk about this next week as well. And then you would add either an Aquaphor or you add a very clean moisturizer. Okay. The lips, like I said, are very sensitive. 0.1. That's why I don't like this device. This is the newer Dr. Pen. This is the Dr. Pen M9. And it increases its depth in increments of 0.2 millimeters. I like to have a lot more control over my device. Number one, this is a lot more expensive and you don't need it. I had my first Dr. Pen M8. This is the M8S because the dial is a little easier to read. My M8 hadn't broken yet and I'd had it for 15 years. I started microneedling in 2016. 2016. That's a long time to be microneedling. But that device lasted 10 years. I recently upgraded to the M8S just because I can see the dial. I can see the number on the dial a little bit better. But I want to be able to dial this by a 0.1 millimeter, not like I'm stuck having to do a 0.2 millimeters. And you will see that when you are going to a place like around your top lip or on your nose, that sometimes you want to be below a 0.2. Like on the lip, I want to be between a 0 and a 0.25. So I want to be like around a 0.15 for that lip because it's very, very sensitive. So I'm still on a speed of 1. Yeah, that's a lot more tolerable. And you know what? It doesn't have to hurt like crazy for it to be effective. Like I said earlier, that esthetician is doing that once a month for $500, probably gone up because it's been over a year since I spoke with her, but $500, a 0.5 millimeter, see you next month. You know, you can do this at home. This right here that I'm doing over the lip, I'm going to go over it with the one swirl. I'm kind of like getting used to it, to be honest with you. Go over it with the one swirl between 0 and a 0.25. So I'm like at a 0.17. I don't know, something like that. Okay. And then this is also a really good depth to just kind of get in here a little bit while I'm making that a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to put this up. Now I'm going to go up to, again, a 0.5 around the lips. Now I say the lips 0.1 to a 0.25 and stay on the perimeter of the lips. Don't go in the middle of the lips. Like you can stay on the border, like if you've got the smokers, even if you don't smoke, if you've got those horizontal lines, the smoker lines, this is a really great treatment for that. You want to stamp, you want to prep yourself for it because this is really the only one that I feel is like, okay, it's a little spicy. Notice how I'm not carrying on a conversation right now. Hold on. Just a little spicy. So I'm stamping right on that lip line. Woo! Okay. I like it. And that was at a 0.50 that I stamped. So even though here on my lips it says a 0.1 to a 0.25, 0.25 is a really good depth to do that lip, to do that upper lip. That's a good depth to do that upper lip. I kind of want a little bit more aggressive on that. Because I do think about this for a second, right? You know how our lips get deflated when we get older? You will oftentimes get like those little, it looks like you're dehydrated, right? But actually it's like you just lost some volume in your lips. I don't have lip filler. I don't have filler in my face. I have fat transfer, but I don't have filler in my face. This plump, because it's stimulating collagen to come to the rescue, it's plumping your lips up. Can you decrease those smoker lines, the vertical lines, while plumping your lips? Yeah, because you're stimulating collagen production. So it absolutely is adding to fullness of your lips. So yeah, I'm very adamant about stamping that upper lip right where that crease is. And yeah, you can do the bottom one as well, but we tend to, because our upper lips move a little bit more in terms of like piercing together and all, when we drink a straw, our age tends to show on that upper lip a lot more than that lower lip. So stamping that absolutely will help diminish those wrinkles. And Paige, I wanted to get back to your question about the rollers because I do have multiple rollers here. You absolutely can use these on your face, okay? This is the Gen Amber. This is a 0.5. It's a 0.5 millimeter. So you have to spray it with alcohol, right? Before I even started, everybody, clean face, nothing on it, nothing. Wash it twice, dry it well, and take a little alcohol wipe. And before your treatment, now I alcohol wipe at least 15 minutes before because my skin gets red when I alcohol wipe. So I like to alcohol wipe, let my pH balance neutralize again so the redness goes out so that when I'm doing a treatment, I can see the response. But that is super important. When you're doing a roller, you have to make sure that you have it well sterilized and you let it dry, right? So let's say you're going to do a roller instead of doing the Dr. Pen M8. You would do this like this. I'm not going to actually do the treatment because obviously I've already got a good treatment going on here, but you would do it like this. Start at the top, go over, pick it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're not going and holding it down the whole time. It's like 1, right? Do that 5 times in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Vertical now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Picking it up each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way over, 5 times all the way over. Then diagonal. 1, 2, 3. It's coloring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Other diagonal. Those are the directions you need to go with the roller to get even close to what you will get with a pen. And it's still not going to be, think about that, the way that those are spaced out, even if I'm doing 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, it's not going to be as intense as this pen, but you will still you'll still be biohacking your skin. So let's say, for example, you're afraid to do this around your eyes. Can you do a roller on your eyes? Absolutely. In fact, rolling your eyebrows is actually, I think, better than stamping your eyebrows. So if I were to roll my eyebrows, let's say I'm just going to do this top part right here, eyebrows and the top of the eye, right? The top of the eyelid staying on that occipital bone. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will make your eyes water a little bit. And it's not just this, it's any needle that's next to your eye. It'll make your eyes water a little bit. And so then I just did it this way, right? So now I would go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2. Make sense? Woo! There goes the waterworks. And then you would do diagonal. Ooh, I'm gonna have to I'm just gonna let that tear fall because the tear is sterile. And then you do diagonal this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the other way. You guys get it, right? So that's how you would use a roller. I like the rollers, particularly when you're doing big body parts, like let's say your abdomen. It would take a long time, especially if you want to go deeper than a 0.5 to do your abdomen with a stamper like this. But a roller, like a body roller that's thick like this, so easy to do. So again, you'd start with one direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, cover the entire abdomen, then vertically, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, diagonal, 1, 2, you guys get it. So it's horizontal, it's vertically, it's diagonal, it's diagonal. That's how you use a roller. And you got to make sure that it's sterile. Your skin is sterile at the same time, right? So I do like those. And if you look at that calendar, go back on that live show. Gosh, I wish I would have brought it up here. Go back on that live show and look at that calendar. And you'll see that I microneedle every single week. It's the face that's the first Sunday of the month. And then it changes abdomen, hands, back of the arms, knees, depending on what neck and chest, depending on what it is that I want to treat that week. But it goes back to face at the beginning of the month again. So every Sunday is a microneedling day. Every 4 to 6 weeks is a microneedling of the face day. And that's how you keep this wave of collagen in between those, in between that once a month good microneedling treatment is when we add the things like microcurrent. It's when we add the things like radio frequency, right? It's when we add the things like chemical peels, DPLs, red light therapy. That's what continues to create this wave of collagen production, much like when our muscular skeletal frame was still growing, when we were producing collagen like mad, right? And then we get to be midlife and it's like, wah, wah. This is stimulating collagen production naturally by creating those microtraumas. Okay, we're back at it. Okay, wow, I got a good treatment with just a 0.5 on that side. Yeah, that was amazing. But I am gonna go back and find those little places that I wanna, I wanna treat a little bit more in here where that jowly area is, and I'm gonna crank it up to a 1. So we're at a 1.0, hold on. 1.0, I'll get a little bit more hyaluronic acid in here. Boop. Got another one. Back up. Okay. This jowly area, I'm gonna stamp at a 1.0. Now here's where I'm at a speed of 1. If I wanted to hasten this treatment, I could put it up at a speed of 4 and only do 1 pass. speed of 4, speed of 6, whatever you want to do, because we know we're stamping. So we're at a depth that stamping is what is recommended. And so this is just going to make the stamps as if I'm doing them like, 5 times more when I'm increasing that speed. Okay, and I'm going to do the other side the same. And then I'm going to do the eyes. Yeah. Do a little bit extra on this little jowly area. Again, you can see I'm almost like bouncing this off the skin. I'm not pressing hard, but you're definitely, you're not going, you're definitely pressing it into the skin. So this is 1 millimeter deep. And I'm just going to get those little areas that I see need a little bit of extra treatment. I'm going to get these pores in here. So I'm going to turn the nose to the side and get right in here. I'm still at a 1.0, but this really helps the pore size. Woo, okay. Other side. Remember, you can get this free microneedling guidebook just by commenting the word microneedling once I post this to my main feed. I'm going to turn this down a little bit, and I'm going to do my nose and then the eyes. So I'm at a 0.25. There is not a lot of anatomy underneath your nose, everybody. So 2 words of advice. Don't ever put a microneedling tool on the tip of your nose. The reason is because your nose, let me see if I can, I don't think I have another, let me see. Let me turn this down. There we go. Don't worry about gunk getting in here. That's all the hyaluronic acid. Yeah, it could be some skin cells. Don't try to clean this out. Don't try to wash it off. Anything that you do to this little sterile needle thing is going to contaminate it. When you're done with it, it twists off and it goes in the garbage. You don't reuse it. You don't try to do anything with it. And when it gets a little bit gunky like that, trust me, the needles go right through that. That doesn't hinder it. So don't worry about the gunk that's literally product that we're spreading around our face, or we're using to create that glide and that slip. I'm going to 0.25, nose goes sideways, and I'm going to stamp. I can sometimes swirl here, which I tried, sometimes I like doing. Let me try to see if I can do that. Because we are at a more shallow depth. But that said, when I go to do my tip of my nose, you want to avoid that. You can stamp down the center, but you want to avoid anything that's going to go into that area. And the reason is because if you're dialed at like a 0.25, but your anatomy, whether it's your nose or anything, is going into the device, you're going a lot deeper than a 0.25, right? Does that make sense? So by putting my tip of my nose in this, I'm looking at a deep, deep, deep treatment there because I'm going into the device. So you don't want to do that. So I'm stamping, I'm turning the nose to the side, stamping where all of those pores are that I can see. You can do a little swirling technique on the side of the nose. But when it comes to the bridge, especially if you've got a pointy nose, a small nose like me, you got to be very careful. I can't tell you how many times I've had like not a scab, but kind of, yeah, a little bit deeper than what I wanted to do on the tip of my nose for that reason, because of the anatomy. Doesn't fit so nicely with this pin. So you want to utilize like turning it to the side, because you want to make sure that you're treating those pores, because it makes a huge difference in pores, you guys. It makes a huge difference in pores. I can't begin to tell you. When you do it consistently, if you try it just one time, yeah, you're going to see that sweet spot about 7 days. That's when the sweet spot for microneedling is, I think. 2 dogs and a Jeep said, I got your mask and your Dr. Pen. So excited. I'm excited for you. Jonam here, my 14-year-old said that you look like you're 38. Well, that's 20 years younger than what I really am, but thank you. That's very nice. That's not the goal. The goal for me, to be honest with you, how often, the question also was, how often do you microneedle your face? Once a month. Once a month without fail. At the longest I go is 6 weeks. And the reason is because, like, if you've got like a photo thing that you have to do, or you got a big event that you need to do, you might not want to microneedle on that Sunday if you got that big event like on a Wednesday, right? So there are instances where I'll push that for 5 weeks or 6 weeks, but 4 to 6 weeks consistently every single month. And if you can do it every 4 weeks, that's like amazing. There's nothing more that you'd be able to do to your skin that is going to reverse age it like microneedling will. And I mean topicals too. There's tons of great topicals. We're going to talk about that next week on Instagram Live with my Ultimate Skincare Routine 2026 edition that has all the topicals. I'll also talk about at-home gadgets at the same time. But yes, topicals can do crazy things to your skin, especially with these new peptides. And if you've got a consistent, well thought out routine, still, I don't think anything that you can do at home comes close to the effects of microneedling at home in terms of aging of the face. And for me, it's not about like, I don't microneedle every 4 to 6 weeks because I want to look younger. I mean, that's like a pleasant, not afterthought, but you know what I'm trying to say, side effect. But really what the goal is to create younger functioning skin. And the way that you do that, the way that this does that, is by creating those microtraumas that call on your body to heal. And when it does that, the way that our body heals when you're doing something like this to your skin is by producing collagen. So when we used to produce a lot of collagen, we were still growing. So by tricking our bodies into thinking it still needs to produce that collagen on a consistent basis every month, right? Because you're going to heal. It's going to take a while to heal. And like I said earlier, the sweet spot for me for microneedling is like 4 to 6 to 7 days, depending on how deep I've gone. That's a really, like, my skin will look great then. Fast forward to like the week after that, that's a great skin week. So if you're timing it, time it for the week before a big event, or just do like me and you're like, you know what, I'm going to, no matter what, unless it's like I'm going to be on TV or something, then I'm still going to do it. Like, I have stuff I have to do. I'm coaching a course. I'm going to coach tomorrow. I'm going to be 1 day post microneedling. Who cares? Consistency is the thing that's going to change your skin. And for me, it's not about looking as young as I can. It's about, because I biohack everything from bone density to muscle mass to sleep to stress, nutrition, all of that. I biohack as a gerontologist. That's what I do. I study aging and figure out a way to biohack it. And I'm biohacking the skin. So my goal is not to get rid of every single wrinkle on my face. I mean, it'd be great, but that's not what the goal is. Eventually, we're all going to be wrinkly old women. That's the goal. But to have the healthiest skin that you can, just like you want the healthiest heart, just like you want the healthiest lungs, just like you want the healthiest bones, you want the healthiest metabolism, right? Your metabolic health, you want the healthiest cognitive health that you can have, brain health. That's what I'm trying to do with the skin. And when you do that with the skin, it looks younger. So the main goal is to reverse to biohack the skin and have it behaving like it did when it was younger. And that is this influx of a collagen wave that happens. And that is started by the microneedling and then supported with the other at-home gadgets that you probably heard me talk about on yesterday's live, and then supported as well with skincare. But it all goes around doing this most strategic thing that we're doing to our skin is the microneedling, and everything else falls into place after that. So when I designed that calendar, which gosh, I wish I had a copy of it here to show you, but I don't. But when I designed that calendar, that was the reason. It's like I started with the microneedling because I knew that is the best thing to biohack the skin at home and will save a ton of money. So I start with that, and then I built the rest of the calendar around that to create this influx of collagen production like we did when our musculoskeletal frame was still growing in our youth. That's the whole basis behind that calendar, behind the ultimate skincare routine, behind microneedling at home. I'm going to do the eyes now, okay? I'm going to show you what this is here. How long should you wait after? So, Sarah, gosh, I cannot say these handles, you guys, but your photo is beautiful. How long should you wait after doing Botox to microneedle? I always say 2 weeks. You're not going to manipulate the Botox around, because Botox tends to, not always, but tends to stay where you put it. If it migrated, you'd have droopy eyes and an inability to swallow all over the place. And that's a rare occurrence, right? If you got like an eye that like you went down a trough, we have these troughs in our eyebrows that sometimes Botox, if an injector puts it in the wrong space, can get in there. So you want to wait for about 2 weeks. And if you are somebody that does filler, you want to wait even longer. I'm not somebody that does filler. But if you are somebody that does filler and you have a new face of filler, you do not want to be manipulating it with a microneedling tool. Okay, would you put makeup over a recently microneedled face? I personally wouldn't. Christine, that's a good guess. I microneedle on Sunday when I know that I'm not going anywhere, right? I don't have anything else to do for the rest of the day. It's 1 o'clock. Sundays are a big work day for me, but I'm puttering around the house on Sundays. And so that is one of the reasons is it'd be great I wouldn't say it would be great. If you are somebody that needs to go out and leave the house, wait as long as you possibly can. And then I would use physical blockers in terms of sunscreen. Instead of putting a sunscreen on my face that then has to be washed off and do all that stuff, I leave it with no makeup. I will hit it hard with these 3 different light spectrums of blue, cyan, and violet, which will help with all of the microtraumas in terms of healing them for bacteria. Like, I've never gotten an infection at home, and I have been doing this for 10 straight years, right? Since 2016 is when I started. So safety is first, and you have to make sure you've got everything clean. And sometimes the last thing you want to do is stick makeup over the top of it. First of all, it's not going to go on smoothly. Okay. It won't. Fast forward, and I will take some stories throughout the day. You will see how this will calm down the color so that when I get to the evening, I'm not walking around with a red face. It might be slightly pink, might look healthy and a little bit glowy, but it's not going to be bright red like this. It will diminish pretty rapidly. Okay, I hope that, if you can at all, I hope that answers the question. If you can at all help it, post microneedling, don't go out to dinner, right? You want to be able to put on your post care, which for me, the basics, hyaluronic acid, I will continue to put this on my face for the next couple of hours. I'm doing something a tiny bit different with my post care in terms of, like I said, the LED lights that I'm using on day 1, not on day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but on day 1, I'm using those 3 light spectrums, blue, violet, cyan. And then, that's a good question, Sima, hold on one second. And then I wait for about an hour, and I'm gonna rinse this off. I used to do it differently. This is like kind of a new way that I'm doing it now. I rinse it off and I immediately put on a OneSkin peptide. And Simon, that goes into what you were saying, _TX. Would you use peptides while microneedling? I do not like to microneedle peptides into my skin. I would be more likely to do that if this was a brand new bottle and I'm opening it up, because think about it. How many times have I opened this up This is a salmon sperm peptide, but this is by Medicue. This is a PDRN. I'm going to talk about this next week on my ultimate skincare routine, but it is a nucleotide kind of peptide that helps fill in those genetic gaps. We're going to get to it. I know that's a little bit, but it's this pink color and it's very, very soothing. So what I'm going to end up doing afterwards, there's 2 different ways you can do that. And it's in the post care here. In the post care, I only have the one way. I am going to do my eyes before we get off of here, I promise. I only have the one way. The very basic, most safest way to do this at home is just hyaluronic acid for a couple more hours. When it starts getting dry, spritz it with mineral water, and then you put on Aquaphor. And you don't do anything else. Before you go to bed, you don't wash that off. You don't manipulate it. You don't do anything weird with it. You don't try to put on retinoids or actives or any sort of, even cream that has any sort of scent in it, any perfume that is in there. You're going to prolong your healing. You're going to prolong your healing. You're not going to get as good a result. So the basics are things that your body, your skin is not going to react to. It's not going to be an active where it's going to be stinging. So basics, hyaluronic acid, mineral water, Aquaphor. That's it. And go to sleep. I mean, don't go to sleep right now, but leave that on. Don't do anything with it. Let it just do its thing. Double up on your collagen. So your collagen peptides that you drink, double up on those. Double up on your LED treatments, and I double up on those on days 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll do double sessions of red, near infrared, and green. Today, I'm doing blue, cyan, and violet because that's what's going to help with this superficial trauma today. Tomorrow is when I switch to the red, near infrared, and green. I'm going to talk more about that next week as well when we talk about the ultimate skincare routine. Okay, I'm going to do my eyes and then we're going to call it a day. I want to make sure that I am, okay. If anybody wants this free microneedling guidebook, gives you all the step-by-steps, safety first, gives you all the needle links, gives you all the post-care. When I post this to my feed, not now, but right after this show, when I post it to my feed, you comment the word microneedling. Check your DM. You'll get the free guidebook in there. And also, I think you get a replay of a different live I did where I microneedled my face. But that's when you comment the word microneedling. If you want the calendar, it's also free, that shows you how to incorporate all the different at-home gadgets, microneedling, microcurrent, radio frequency, dry brushing, red light therapy, chemical peels, and topical skincare all in one easy to follow calendar that creates a wave of collagen production, much like we did when our musculoskeletal frame was still growing when we were younger. Then you comment the word protocol. So microneedling will get you this guidebook and I think a discount on the pen. Protocol will get you that newly revised calendar that has a misspelling in the title, but we'll get that fixed. Okay, I'm going to dial this down to a 0.25. You never want to go over a 0.50 on your eyes because underneath this bottom eyelid is your meibomian glands. Those are the oil glands that secrete oil into your eye. The top of your eyelid secretes water, the bottom secretes oil, and that's how the water stays on your saline for your eyes stays on your eyeball, right? If you disrupt these oil glands on the bottom, you could end up with evaporative eye disorder in which your meibomian glands are affected and you're only secreting water, and that is like tearing. It's a type of dry eyes. It's the type of dry eyes that I had, not caused from this, but just caused from menopause and age. But what you don't want to do is mess those meibomian glands up. So you have to stay under a 0.5 millimeter. I err on the side of caution and I'm at a 0.25 with that. And I'm going to do a swirling technique under the bottom, or at least like a kind of like a lawnmower technique. Hold on. And you stay on that occipital bone. So you don't want to go where the eye is soft. Feel around on your bone. Your bone goes very close to your eye. Now, you'll see me pull the skin away from my eye to get closer, so you can actually get closer than what that occipital bone is, where it is, if you pull the skin down. So that's what I'm going to do right now, okay? It looks kind of a little freaky, but I'm going to pull the skin down. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to do a swirling technique just because it's a little bit easier for me. And again, this is still hard bone. I'm not getting as close to that's bone. I'm not getting as close to my eye as it would appear because I'm pulling this down, right? Hold on, here we go. And I'm at a 0.25 here. And even in here, you guys, this is all hard. So why couldn't you? You can, because I'm going to show you, you can. Microneedle right against this bone here. Absolutely. And then up into your eyebrow. This is all bone. You want to get closer to your eyelid here? Don't go over your eyeball, please. You don't want the pressure on your eyeball. Not necessarily that this would hit your eyeball, but you don't want that. So you pull this up. Looks weird. You pull it up and you stay on that occipital bone. And I'm going to stamp. Well, I can do a combination of like little stamps and swirls. Okay. Oh, this makes my eyes water. Here goes the waterworks. Woo! Makes my eyes water and my nose run. Okay, let me see. Oh! Woo! We're getting it. We'll do the other one first. We'll let that one rest. And get right up in here. Yeah, you guys would not want to put makeup on over the top of this. You really don't. The other way to do this with the post-care, and for my friend who talked about peptides earlier, I'm going to talk about this on next week for the Ultimate Skincare 2026 edition. The other way that you could do this, besides just the besides just the hyaluronic acid, the water, and then in an hour or so, just put an Aquaphor on and leave it for the rest of the night. The other way you do that is you wash off the face after an hour, just with cool water, little bit of like a pH balance, like an Aquaphor, not an Aquaphor, a Physoderm kind of face wash, very, very simple face wash. Then you'd follow with a One Skin peptide right next to the skin. This has got to be after it stops oozing a little bit, right? Or else it's just going to push your peptide right out. You could do a One Skin, which will help with all the senescent cells, all those zombie cells. Let it sit there for a while. It's a combination of a serum and a cream. Comes out a cream, but it blends in with your skin like it's a serum. And that will help with the senescent cells. So any cells that we've like damaged, they're ready to clear out, that will help. Then on top of that, you could put a salmon sperm PDRN that will help with that. This is a soothing. It's not an active. It's not like a copper peptide. A copper peptide helps with cell turnover, but a PDRN does not help with cell turnover. It fills in genetic gaps. And so it's great to use this kind of peptide post microneedling. And in fact, in South Korea, when we go to South Korea, I'm going to have a salmon sperm facial where they microneedle it right into your face. I wouldn't do that at home. And I would be more likely to do that, not coaching it, but I'd be more likely to do that in my own privacy because I've been doing this for 10 years. If I opened this bottle new and immediately just went from here right on the skin, right? Then it's not contaminated, but I've opened this so many times and put this on my, there's bound to be some stuff in here. So I wouldn't do that on my skin now, but it might be something that you want to consider when you're, when you've been doing this for a while and you understand peptides. You're going to know a lot more about the peptides and topical peptides when we talk about tomorrow. This is also like, instead of using, for example, an Aquaphor, which is what I'm going to use, what I'm coaching you guys to use today as your post-care. It's the easiest way. It is the safest way to do. But there are other creams that you could use as well. And one of them, this is like a Madagascar Centella Soothing Cream. And this is by Skin 1004. I have no affiliation with them. But this is something that they're also using in South Korea as like a calming balm after microneedling. So it could be a One Skin with an OSO1 peptide, a PDRN peptide, and a calming balm over the top of it. But again, wait. You gotta wait for the skin to stop oozing a little bit. And that's usually within like 30 minutes when you put down your microneedling tool. Now, a lot of people in office would be like, well, that you want to make sure that you're using those channels to like get the stuff in. And when you wait, unless you're microneedling it directly into your skin, those channels close up pretty quickly. They're closed up within 30 minutes for sure. It's kind of like Jello, right? When you put a knife in Jello or you poke holes in Jello, it wants to seal up. Our skin wants to do the same thing. So it is something that it is something I have done before, but it's not something that I would coach, especially if you haven't done it. Would unscented Lubriderm be okay? You'd be better off with an Aquaphor or with like a Eucerin healing ointment than a cream. It would be okay, especially if it's in a pump instead of like a tube. It would be okay. But when you're looking at like the safest things in terms of like ingredients to be able to heal in the quickest way, hyaluronic acid occurs naturally in your skin. So does water. And Aquaphor is like a leading healing ointment. So that is the easiest way. I would always, always, always recommend that if you're doing microneedling for the first time, that is your post-care. Hyaluronic acid, which occurs naturally in your skin, water just to freshen it up for a little bit, cover the whole thing with Aquaphor. Don't wash it. Go to bed like that. That's the safest way. Hope that made sense. If you do a deeper number, could you use numbing cream? You can use numbing cream. Nobody's saying you can't, but I'm just telling you, you're not going to need it. You're going to buy the numbing cream. You're going to use it one time. You're going to get used to the device. The numbing cream's going to go away. I just know, because that's what happens to like every single client that I have. They're like, oh my God, it doesn't hurt as much as I thought. I'm like, I know. I've been telling you that for a long time. Okay, let's get to the eyes and then we'll get off of here. So we're going to do this at a 0.25. I'm going to go over the eyes one more time, you guys. Well, maybe more than one time. You see how you can see exactly where that ring is of white. That means that has not had a good enough treatment. It's not reacting as much. So I need to go back over. This side is a little bit reacting a little bit more. So hold on. I'm going to pull this down. There we go. For those of you just joining, I know this looks weird. I'm microneedling my face, doing around my eyes at a 0.25 millimeter. I have an 18 pin cartridge in here, sterile needles, sterile face. I do this every 4 to 6 weeks. And it literally is the best tool for biohacking your skin at home. There is nothing as close besides a multi-spectrum LED light, but nothing else is close. Any sort of gadget, radio frequency, any gadget that what about this gadget? What about this gadget? I'm telling you, nothing comes close. It's a simple microneedling device that you do consistently. This is still on that occipital bone. Whew. Eyes are watering. Eyes are watering. Okay. Remember, so Creative Eye Candy says, my face doesn't get red and white like yours. It gets blood droplets. Yeah, everybody's skin responds a little bit differently. In Creative Eye Candy, are you using a numbing cream? If you're using a numbing cream, it will make a difference. Your face will not get red. But also too, I have sensitive skin. My skin reacts, right? So, and I'm very, very fair. Hold on, I need to drink a coffee. 1 second. The more fair you are, the more you're going to see your skin react. But Creative Eye Candy says, no, she doesn't use a numbing cream. I think your skin, Creative Eye Candy, is a little bit more olivey, more olive tone than mine. And so you're not going to get this big reaction. But when you see like the little droplets of blood, that's what you've done. What did she put on her eyelids? It's a hyaluronic acid serum just to create a slip. So I'm putting this on just to create this slip so that the device glides evenly over your skin. Creative Eye Candy says her face gets red the following day. That's so interesting. Okay. And then 2 dogs and a Jeep said, will you show us how to do abdomen and arms too sometimes? I absolutely will. In fact, if you guys will be here next Sunday, I'll do a different body part next Sunday just to show you. But my standard Instagram live is always Saturdays. Saturday I did the whole calendar, but then every once in a while I'll show you the microneedling on Sunday. If you guys decide you're down, you want to see what it looks like on different body parts, I'll do that for a month. I'll microneedle a different body part for a month. The hands, yeah, I've done demos of the hands before. I have a full demo of doing hands with this tool, and my hands are 58 years old. That does not look like a 58-year-old hand. And that is because it's a lot of different things, but it's consistently microneedling my hands. Jacarola says, my red is very red now, and I just did it 2 hours ago. I love the protocol. Yay! Okay, I love it. Okay, I'm gonna do this other one. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm pulling this up, because this eye lid now looks pretty good. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. Pull this down. Stay on that occipital bone. I'm at a 0.25. I'm not very deep, but I want to stay shallow here because it is around the eyes. It's a very thin skin around the eyes. Okay, going on to this next eye. You'll see that I do the same area 2 or 3 times, and it's all in here. It'll give you the different passes. Starfish says, wow, you look amazing. Never thought you were 58. Oh my God, that's so sweet. Yeah, I'm 58. I'll be 58 in April. So in a month. Yeah. And that's consistency, you guys. And it is, I'm going to tell you right now, it is strategic, that calendar. That calendar, I've done a lot of things in coaching women. That calendar is very, very strategic. And you will reverse age. My client reversed aged her skin by 10 years following that calendar. She laminated it. She taped it up to her mirror, and she followed it every single day. And she reverse aged her skin on that calendar alone by 10 years. I'm not kidding. Okay, let me get up here. Jet Set Baby 220. Yes, you look truly amazing. That's why I follow you. I want to know your secrets. I'm not a gatekeeper. I give them all away, and usually for free. Okay. Zippy Kona says no pain. But cure caused red itchy bumps, lasted 3 weeks, may have been serum. And if there is a nickel in the needles, I'll try. Yeah, nickel. These are surgical steel. To get this device, you guys, when I post this to my main feed, comment the word microneedling. You'll get a copy of the protocol for free, the guidebook for free. I think you'll also get another live show that I did on a demo, just so you guys have a couple different shows to go by. And you'll also get a discount on the tool. The code for this is Live Young. It's $100 off. So it's normally $299. It's $199. And like I told you, when you do this in an office, it's $500. So for less than one treatment, you'll have a device. My device lasts me 10 years. But you got to be consistent with it. Do not buy a device and have it sit in your drawer. Open it up, get it charged, and then we'll see. We'll do it next week, right, on a different body part. Okay. I can see I've got to get a little closer to this eye, and then I'm going to call it a day. And red itchy bumps, I need to, that's why using the right, the right products, the right products that you use while you're microneedling, the right post-care products, super important. You don't know how you're going to respond, so why start adding peptides and all this other kind of crap? Stick with the basics first till you see how your skin reacts, and then you can go from there. So Zippy, I would make sure that you've got the right device, and that you're using a serum that is naturally occurring in your skin. And hyaluronic acid occurs naturally in our skin. I want to make sure there's nothing else. I'm worried to do without numbing cream. You think it's better? Absolutely, Jet Set Baby. Try it here. Literally. You will be like, oh, this is nothing. Let me try it here now. I'm telling you. Does it hurt a little bit? Yeah, but you get so used to it. And the numbing cream, I just think there's too much going on. You got to leave it on for a long time. It gets everywhere. You ever had numbing cream like in your eyeball or in your, it's not great. And then you tend to go deeper and more passes. And also it changes the coloring of your skin so you don't see the reaction. Now I get a big reaction because my skin is very pale. I'm basically a vampire. I haven't seen, my face hasn't seen the sun in like decades, okay? Because the sun's the number one cause of aging, of photo aging. But if you are somebody that like, if you have darker skin, you might not get the big reaction. But also if you're using numbing cream, it will take that reaction out and will kind of leave a white cast to your skin that's not reactive. And so you're not feeling it, you're continuing to go, but also your skin isn't getting that red reaction due to the numbing cream, you're continuing to go. And then you've got a big, giant treatment that you just performed that maybe you weren't wanting something that deep or that intense. So I have numbing cream. I've used it a couple of times. It expired. I threw it away. I don't coach with numbing cream because I want you to get used to the device. And once you do something like this at a 0.2, this is the same needle length I'm doing around my eyes. And you can see how reactive my eyes are. You will see that this does not hurt as much as you think. It is the fear of the unknown. So I'm trying to coach so that there's a lot of fear involved, and that's where the pain comes in. But it's not that painful, and anybody can do this at home. Okay, I think I got a pretty good treatment. I'm going to do this side one more time, and then we're going to call it a day. So remember, to get that free guidebook, when I post this to my main feed, comment the word microneedling and check your DM. Please follow me before you get any of my free stuff, okay? I give away a lot of stuff for free. And I'll get like hundreds of comments to get the free stuff and like 30 likes. Please make sure you're following. Make sure you give it a heart. Send it to a friend who is interested in microneedling and then comment the word microneedling and check your DM. Please, okay? I give away a lot of free stuff. I don't ask for a lot. Just make sure you're following me to get the free stuff, okay? Give it a heart. Send it to a friend and then comment microneedling. Okay, here we go. This is the last little bit of it and we are done. This is still on that bone. It's still on that occipital bone. I know it doesn't look pretty pulling my eyelid up like this, but that's how I get it closer to the eye while still maintaining safety. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing down here and then we'll call it a day. Okay, ooh, that's it. So, off, throw it away, okay? That's it. You never reuse this. You have a new one when you want a new one. Okay, so I'm gonna coat this again. I'm gonna show you guys the old school way, the safest way. Coat this again with hyaluronic acid, the whole thing, just so it doesn't get all dry and crusty. You wanna keep it moist. Maybe next week, what I'll do, would you guys rather see hands or neck and chest next week? Or abdomen? I could do either one. You guys can let me know. Okay, let me see if there's anything else before I get off of here. Do you microneedle your chest or neck? Yes, I was thinking about doing it next week. Jacarella said, I switched to the at-home after discovering Darnell. Darnell was so knowledgeable. My friends are commenting on my skin more and more these days. Yay, I love that. Numbing cream swells your face too. It does. Yes, it does. Jet Set Baby, okay. I charged my device now. It was just sitting there collecting dust. Don't do that. Don't waste your money like that. Let's reverse age your skin. Thank you for that, Sarah Cirilla. Yeah. Always follow Darnell. She's so knowledgeable. Thanks, Paige. You're not supposed to do use this device on moving eyelids. My eyes are not moving, but you can absolutely do your eyelids on this. It's just, you got to lift it up. Does this help under the eye lines? It literally helped. This has been one, in terms of an at-home tool, this is your best friend when it comes to crow's feet, because it absolutely will change that. There's not another device, microcurrent, radio frequency, chemical peels, dry brushing. There's nothing at home that will erase crow's feet wrinkles like a microneedling tool. So yeah. Yes, is Lenigma_PT. Yes, it absolutely will help with that. It does help tighten the eyelids. Yes. Mara Marie Beauty. Yes. Can we get it shipped to the UK? I ship to the UK. I don't know what the fuck the tariffs are doing right now, you guys. So I would say this. I shipped a mask to the UK, and it's the first, no, was it to Dubai? I shipped a mask to Canada, and the Canadian Postal Service had my client go and pay $60 extra in tariffs. And then we had another client, and I think it was in Dubai, that had to pay like $60. One paid $60, the other one paid like $36. So it's just, I don't want to make this a political show, but like the tariffs have not been whatever. We have to just figure it out. But yes, I do ship to the UK. The supplements get shipped to the UK. The mask can be shipped to the UK. The pen can be shipped to the UK. Wow, we've got hands, neck and chest, hands and abdomen, hands and neck and chest, neck, chest, hands and chest. Okay, well, listen, if you guys don't have anything else to do on a Sunday, I'm doing this shit anyways. So I'm happy to log on here and do the next 3 or 4 Sundays to show you guys everything that you're asking for. So I can do neck and chest on one day. You don't want to, here's the thing, and this is a warning, everybody. Once you get used to the pain, which you will, once you get used to the pain, which you will, do not start doing multiple body parts in one session. That is too much trauma. Remember, there is good stress that's going to cause our body to that. We're biohacking with this good stress. Just like we biohack muscle mass when we lift weights. We biohack our bone density when we put on a weighted vest, right? There's other things that we're doing we can biohack our sleep with light and temperature. We can biohack our stress with meditation, with breathing, right? With that physiological sigh. All of that is biohacking. This is what we're doing here. We're biohacking the skin. And in terms of at-home gadgets or at-home modalities, it is the number one. Second to LED therapy in terms of how your body responds to it in creating healthier functioning skin. When you create healthier functioning skin, which we are doing, you create younger looking skin. My goal is always the healthier skin, just like the healthier metabolic health I can be in, the healthiest I can be in terms of brain, cardiovascular, bones, muscles, all of it. I want the healthiest skin imaginable. And in doing that, it creates younger functioning skin. It creates younger looking skin. 2 dogs in a Jeep said, I'm up for it, LOL. Whatever is your routine. Amazing. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Okay. Oh, wait, hold on. You ordered what around Christmas, Angela? Tell me. Thank you for answering. You're welcome. Would it trigger your sympathetic nervous system doing a microneedling on your face? I don't have no idea. Yes, I would say this. Anytime that you are doing anything that is a stressor, and putting needles on your face is a stressor, it's going to increase your cortisol levels. So does getting out of bed. So does lifting weights, right? All of that stuff. Like, people are afraid of like this stress hormone, but our stress hormone cortisol works to get us out of bed. It spikes in the morning. When I do a cold plunge, it spikes, but then your body's resilience brings it back down. So for my friends who are like afraid to use this and all of a sudden you get it and you're like, oh, this is nothing. Let me do my whole body. You can create too much of a systemic kind of reaction to where creates more of an inflammatory response where your body is perceiving this as a bigger threat than what it is. And so you do not want to do multiple body parts at the same time. Number one, you're taking away that healing from the treatment area that you're really wanting to focus on, right? So we don't want like all hands on deck when it comes to like every place on your body. You did your hands, you did your arms, you did your face, you did your stomach, you did your knees. And you're like, ah, and your body's doing the same thing. Controlled, strategic, one area at a time, once a week, every Sunday, depending on what it is, get back to that same body part in 4 to 6 weeks. And that's what creates the not only micro trauma, but that micro controlled stress. That's a good stress that actually biohacks your skin. If it's too much, even of a good thing, it's like you can stay in a cold plunge too long. You can lift too much weights. You can walk too much with a weighted vest to the point where it affects your knees. You can overdo your skin. I see it all the time. And that's one of the reasons why I revised that calendar. And you can get to that by just commenting protocol when I post this to my feed. I revised that calendar because I saw so many people who are skincare, that's their thing. They're on social media for skincare. And I look at their skin and I'm like, that's not healthy skin. It's exhausted. And I talked about this yesterday. It's like over curling your hair. You know, when you get to a point, you're over curling, you curl it. It's not laying right. And you curl and you curl and you curl and curl. And then all of a sudden your hair is like, nope, I'm out, not doing it. Your skin could do the same thing. And so you think you're doing something great for your skin, but you're not being strategic and you don't have the knowledge about it. You think you're taking that step forward and you're taking 3 steps back. I've seen people overdo microneedling, just like you can overdo a lot of stuff. Overdo microneedling to the point where the skin is not healthy. And it's like building up that scaffolding, because remember, collagen is scaffolding for us. In a plant, their scaffolding material is fiber. In animals, our scaffolding material is collagen. And so it's building up that collagen, and you get, you do something to like fuck it up a little bit, and then you build it up. And before it's structurally strong, you go in and start doing it again, you're going to have this misshaped, not great structured collagen. And that shows as age in your skin. So it's strategic. It's very, very consistent. It's not only laminated on my bathroom mirror, that calendar, but it's in my phone. So like yesterday, what popped up on my phone was microcurrent, literally in the top of my thing. Today, what popped up on my phone on the very top that's recurring is microneedling. So get that calendar, laminate, put it on your thing so you can, it's like right in your face when you're brushing your teeth. Like, what am I supposed to do today? Oh, I'm supposed to do microcurrent. Oh, I'm supposed to focus on red light therapy today. Oh, I'm supposed to do a chemical peel, whatever it is. But having that reminder is super important, because sometimes we will do a chemical peel at home. We'll forget that we did it less than a week ago and we do it again. We're not keeping track of it. This is a simple way to keep track. Okay, so post care, and I'm gonna get off of here. Hyaluronic acid, spray it with water. This Aquaphor, my hands have never been in here. This is specifically for microneedling. And so what I do is I take my little wand thing, because you don't want, think about this. If I'm gooping in here all the time and I'm using this tub for anything other than microneedling, my hands have been putting bacteria. Now we've got like a little petri dish of bacteria that we're going to be spreading on our face. Don't do it. Have a little container or a big container, if you're doing it consistently like I am, that is specifically for post-care ointment. And then you take that same little wand that you've been putting your hyaluronic acid on, spray it with alcohol, because we've been going back and forth on our face. Spray it with alcohol, let it dry a little bit. And I'll just put this on now. No, I won't put this on now because I really want to let it kind of sit for like 30 minutes before I do this. But you would take this little scraper thing and you just put on, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. You just put on a very, very thin layer. That's it. Now, what I would do is, before I go to bed, I put on another little layer. And sometimes I'll even put on like a little silicone mask so that I'm making sure, see, I'm not putting, it's not big and goopy. It's just like a little tiny light layer of Aquaphor. That's it. It's trapping that hyaluronic acid in there, but it's also instantly my face just felt like calmed, a little less red, a little less irritated. I know it doesn't look like it, but that's what it felt like, just having this kind of healing ointment on. So that is like the basics, right? We can get into next week about like other treatments or treatments that you can do within 30 minutes of microneedling when we talk about peptides. So next Saturday then, I'm going to be doing the Ultimate Skincare Routine 2026 edition that adds all of the new kind of products in there, because I guarantee you there are going to be people out there that are like, you think you're doing the right thing with your skincare and the way you're layering it, and your products are nullifying each other. You're either creating a barrier, or even if you're not, even if you're using those same typical rules of layering skincare, like dress for the snow, the lighter, thinner serums go on first, the thicker stuff goes on the top. That's like the no-brainer of like layering skincare. It's not so simple when you're layering peptides with actives. We're going to talk about that on the Ultimate Skincare Routine. So this is what's coming to you next week. We're going to get into big detail about this on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I will microneedle a different body part. So I'll see you guys then. Okay, I'm going to post this to my feed right now. Please, 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 make sure you're following me. Make sure you give it a like before you comment microneedling. Make sure you send it to a friend who's interested in microneedling, and then comment microneedling and check your DM, okay? If you want that calendar, which I'm also going to go over next week, you can comment protocol. So microneedling gets you the free guidebook. Protocol gets you the free calendar. I'll see you guys next week on Saturday at 12 o'clock. Have a great weekend. I know that you guys have multiple places you can be, right? I appreciate you guys all showing up, because I love coaching this stuff. So if it's helping you, happy to do this on Saturdays as well for a little while till you guys get the hang of it. Remember that this device is on sale for $100 off with code LiveYoung. That will also be in that auto response. And then I'll see you guys next week. Okay, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.